How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about Liverpool and Everton and the fallout from the Merseyside derby, because Merseyside police are investigating a series of tweets from Liverpool fans directed at Everton players. Next piece of news involves Chelsea, and Frank Lampard has been talking about their defensive worries. And the last piece of news involves Arsenal and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, because he's hit out at some supporters who've criticised him after Saturday's defeat to Manchester City.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is the Merseyside derby game again, and Liverpool, Everton, the fallout from that. I was speaking about it in yesterday's show, and of course there's the Virgil van Dijk situation. It's going to be out for up to a year with this ACL injury, having surgery and everything else, and it's not great at all. And it's certainly not great for Liverpool. And how on earth do they replace somebody that colossus? Because since he's came in, it's turned Liverpool's fortunes around. They've done what they've done because they brought in, players like Virgil van Dijk. And if it's an accident, if it happens and it's just one of those things within football, I suppose, when the dust has settled, you kind of get on with it. But given the nature of the injury and how he received it, is what's leaving a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths. Now, before I get into this specific, story here, I've seen a lot being talked about on, all media channels and everything from Sky and BT and talk shows and all kinds of things. And I've seen them all condemning this tackle, and I've seen them condemning what Jordan Pickford did, and should he be suspended for the same amount of games that Virgil van Dijk's going to miss, etc., etc. And what I will say in relation to that, and that on its own, as an Arsenal fan who's, seen our players on the receiving ends of horrific injuries, is where was this same energy when it happened to Arsenal players? When Abu Dhabi had his ankle broken against Sunderland in the dying minutes, absolutely needless, and it ultimately ruined his career. Where was this energy? When Eduardo had his leg snapped against Birmingham, where was this energy? When Aaron Ramsey had his leg snapped by Ryan Shawcross, where was this energy? All we kept hearing was that Arsenal are soft. Arsenal are weak. The only way you're going to beat them is if you stick it up them and give them a bit of, rough. That's all we ever heard. Have that same kind of energy. Why was it okay then, but not now? Yeah, remains to be seen, doesn't it? But this one, in terms of this story, Merseyside police are investigating a series of tweets from Liverpool fans, and I will use that term very loosely, Liverpool fans, for some of the comments and tweets that they've been sending to them. Now, social media is becoming a place where people are saying things to other people, knowing full well they're not going to get a punch in the face for it. It gives you a bit of a boost, an invincibility about you, that you can say something to someone without the repercussions. Now, don't get me wrong. People will sit there and say to me that I've made my career on, being negative and going after people and everything else. There's lines. Okay, criticising a player, saying a player's not good enough to play for your club, even saying that the player's, performed shit, or he can't do this or can't do that. You're not crossing a line. You're sitting there giving your opinions about the player, the performance, the game, the way he plays, or whatever it might be. And you do have to remember that they might see this, which is something that I've learned over the years as well. But like I'm trying to say, those lines that you can't cross, when they start making threats and then they start bringing family members into it, or they start, just coming out with just stuff that you would never normally say, to somebody, not ever, in my opinion. I don't think you're going to go up to one of your worst enemies and say some of these things that you've said. I had this only a week ago with myself on social media where I'd had enough of it, where I wake up in the morning and I go and check a message or something, and in there is something about my dead brother or something about one of my family members. I get it all the time, this constant bullshit about my wife, and I apparently do things to her and all this. And people say, why don't you ever respond to that and deny it? Do I really need to deny that? I don't need to respond to absolute nonsense like that. Seriously, that kind of stuff is just pathetic. It's just boring the life out of me. But there's that, start on my kids. I had a tweet only a couple of weeks ago where someone was saying about my oldest son Kieran, hope he breaks his leg again and he gets injured. And you don't know me. You don't know nothing about me. But yet you feel the need to go on social media and just tweet that for no reason, because you don't like my football opinion, because your team may have lost and I've laughed about it, and you think that gives you the right to say that. Would you say it in real life? Would you walk up to me and say it to my face? Would you walk up to my son and say it to his face? No, you wouldn't, because you know what would happen to you. So this is something that's been a problem for a very long time with social media. And don't get me wrong, and I will say it again, I've been guilty myself of saying things and, you know, doing things that I regret. But you're not sitting there, you know, making threats like this or doing that kind of stuff over a game of football. Come on, man. Really? Is it that bad? You know, and this is where these social media companies now need to start acting. Places like Twitter and Instagram, etc. And you need to have identification now. That's what I think. For you to have a social media account, you should have to provide some form of identification so that everyone knows who you are. So if you do something from your account, then it's very easy to trace. This is your name, this is your address, this is who you are, here's his identification. Bang, job done. But it's so simple on social media. Just set up random accounts constantly to just troll. I'm bored to the back teeth of it. But yeah, I've really gone into one on this. But they're saying that those who use the internet to target others and who commit criminal offences such as making threats or committing a hate crime in doing so are not beyond the law. Detectives are making inquiries to identify the individuals who posted the tweets, and where we identify offences, we will take action to bring those responsible to justice. So good. I hope that they are able to find out who they are. You remember a while ago there was all that stuff with Jamie Vardy, and his wife got a load of comments about his daughter, and I think she was 3 years old at the time and stuff like that. Oh mate, it makes me sick, man. So yeah, the fallout from this game is huge. And I just hope that social media and everyone in general can just get a grip of this now, because it's just too much. It's just not enjoyable anymore. It's really not. And I think the best thing Twitter done was when they were able to block your comments so you can decide who actually interacts. The only downside to that as well is that they still allow you to quote tweet. So anyone who can't comment, they go on a quote tweet. You can go there and you can read it. And there's some tweets where I don't allow it to be open because I know what's coming. If I make a banter joke and whatever about Man United or Chelsea or Spurs, and it's no offence in any way, shape or form, it's just having a laugh because they've lost the game or something else. And the abuse you get, oh mate, it's ridiculous. So there we go. I nearly took up a whole entire show just talking about that, but it's a completely different subject. So briefly, Frank Lampard has defended Chelsea's defensive record ahead of their Champions League game tonight against Sevilla. And he's basically gone on to say that, you know, they're a work in progress, they're a new team, and it's going to take time. Now, I don't know how much time Frank Lampard will have, and I will compare to Arsenal and Mikel Arteta because he came in, it was a sinking ship, we were all over the place, and Gary Neville famously said, these defenders cannot be coached. The likes of Mustafi, David Luiz, etc., etc. I think we've got the second best defensive record in the Premier League this season. And even going to last season, Mikel Arteta had shown that he can actually get these guys to defend. Yes, there's mistakes. Yes, there's some of the same old frailties, but he's actually getting them through. And that's actually really commendable. So with Frank Lampard, I don't know how much longer he's going to have. He's brought in an experienced centre-back, you know, in Thiago Silva from PSG. And it's like, come on, man, you don't need any more experience than that. And in his first game, he makes a mistake. And it's just like, look, you sold a defender in David Luiz, and would he get back into the Chelsea side now? He probably would, because he's better than most of them there. I can't say no more than that. So we'll wait and see what happens with Frank Lampard. And if they lose this game in the Champions League, then the pressure is going to really start mounting on him. Last piece of news involves Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he posted an image of him riding an exercise bike yesterday on Instagram story. And the message on it was a lot of blah, blah, blah. At the end, we speak as usual. And this is directed towards fans that have criticised the images of Aubameyang and Guendouzi at the end of the Manchester City game. And, you know, they were former teammates, they're friends, and they were just embracing, having a quick chat. And Aubameyang, look, the one thing I say about Aubameyang is that he always smiles. It doesn't matter what he does or where he is, he's always got a grin on his face, he's smiling. And, you know, fans have taken exception to that. They've just lost. Oh no, Aubameyang's not allowed to smile. He's not allowed to greet a former teammate or anything else. And Aubameyang's simply saying that it's all noise. It's just blah, blah, blah. And he's doing nothing different than what he always does after a game. If he's there with a former teammate or a friend, etc., and he greets them, says hello, has a brief conversation about the game or whatever, and that's it. But people are looking way more into that. And some of the tweets, it's like, you know, they're using here, one Arsenal fan fumed. Why the fuck is he so happy? We just lost with an abysmal display with almost no players actually being asked to do anything. Another supporters turned around and said, Auba standing, chatting and having a laugh with a City player after a defeat is simply not acceptable. Another comment is, I don't care what he does, just a time and a place to be having a laugh. So, yeah, look, it's easy scapegoats, isn't it? There's certain things that I don't like. And yeah, maybe in hindsight, you could probably say, Auba, go down the tunnel, because you know what some people are like and certain things like that. I remember Alex Iwobi did something once before when we played Spurs away. And he came over towards the away fans, and we just lost 1-0. And Lacazette had missed a chance in injury time. And Tottenham is a different level of, you know, disappointment when you lose and everything. And he's came over, and instead of thanking the fans, he was looking up at a family member that was in the tier above or something. And he's telling them to phone him or something. And fans are like, are you not actually going to thank us? Are you coming over here to, you know, thank us and show how dejected you are as a player as well? Or are you more concerned about your mates ringing you later or whatever? So again, things like that, time and a place. And I remember it came around the similar times that he'd been caught going to a party as well before a game and everything. So it was a combination of, you know, various other things. But yeah, listen, he hasn't done nothing wrong. It's one of his former teammates. He's greeting him, saying hello, whatever it might be. Leave the man alone, man. Just, Auba, start getting back on the score sheet, bruv. That's all I can say. So, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.